Corvette flees authorities at speeds of up to 140 miles per hour from inland Empire to downtown Los Angeles. On the freeways, the Corvette reached 140 miles per hour during the pursuit, evading capture in downtown Los Angeles, despite multiple helicopters involved in the chase. A driver in a blue Chevrolet Corvette led authorities on a dangerous, high-speed chase that ended in downtown Los Angeles on Thursday night, February 22, 2024. The chase initially began in Pomona and entered San Bernardino County before the driver returned to Los Angeles County. The driver was wanted for a vehicle law violation and driving without a license plate. The fleeing driver in the Corvette swerved dangerously across lanes, nearly hitting other cars on the road.
So this back to the 60 freeway, and we've seen this a couple times. We've seen this driver use various freeways, stay on them for a few minutes, and then get off for a little bit, and then turn back around and get back onto
the Corvette driver was traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour through the Inland Empire, the San Gabriel Valley, and Los Angeles. Shortly after 11 p.m., the suspect sped down highways 210 and 605 in the San Gabriel Valley, reaching speeds in excess of 140 mph on Highway 605. While driving on Highway 10 in the University Park area, the suspect veered dangerously across lanes, drove recklessly, and nearly struck other vehicles on the roadway. The suspect eventually moved onto surface streets in downtown Los Angeles, where authorities continued to pursue him. There, the suspect appeared to flee from law enforcement and evade capture.
Yes, and I heard you ask what violation he possibly was being charged for in the first place. Do we know that information yet?
No plate.
Okay.
We presume it's no rear plate because I don't think we even have front plates on a Corvette, although you're supposed to have front plates on all cars. And of course, obviously after that, the speed. And it's just been amazing the level of speed here, and the fact that when he was on the surface streets, Gabe, he could out-accelerate the pursuing officers without any question. This thing can go 0 to 60 in probably 3 seconds. So whatever he's able to, the car is going to take him a long way in terms of trying to get away. But it's the level of skill that he has behind the wheel that may determine whether or not this ends in tragedy.
Yeah, Mark. So we believe this is going to be a Chevy Corvette, obviously. I believe Rob, our photographer, did a zoom in earlier. We think this is going to be a Z06, a Z06, and those vehicles have a top speed of 205 miles an hour. So if he decides to go 205 miles an hour, we're going to definitely have difficulty keeping up with him in Air 7 HD. Luckily, Thankfully, we haven't seen quite exactly those speeds, but still, these speeds are incredibly excessive. We'll turn on the speedometer again and see where he's at now. Definitely favoring those triple digits, still over 100 miles an hour. Not as fast as we were going earlier with those 140 miles an hour, and that could be because of the curvature of this 60 freeway. On the 210, you have a lot of long straightaways that just go for miles and miles, and the 60 freeway, a little bit of an older freeway that kind of curves left and right. And I would think that, you know, any smart driver would think to make those curves safely and get around other traffic, you might want to let off the gas just a little bit. And I think that's what we're seeing here with this driver. Still excessive rates of speed, going around a school bus there, continuing as we approach the, this is going to be the East LA interchange. We already passed the 710 freeway. As I was looking down on some other information, we're going through the East LA interchange. It looks like we're staying on the part of the 60 freeway that eventually turns into the 10, and this is a complicated interchange with lots of options really for this driver to take, but it looks like we're going to stick with this part of the 60 freeway that turns into the 10 freeway as we kind of go around the south side of downtown. Kind of slowing down a little bit. Look at that. We're under triple digits now, which is kind of new for this pursuit, but there is a lot of volume here. And as we were saying, a lot of chances for the freeway to kind of curve left and right. This is the part of the 10 freeway earlier that was closed a couple of months ago due to that fire into the freeway, just to give you an idea of where we are now. And there was a very erratic maneuver trying to skate around some other vehicles there. As we said, the volume is building, and it's going to make this a little bit more difficult for this driver to maintain those top speeds. As we widen out, you can see that those CHP units, they're doing a good job at staying as close as they can behind this suspect, but they have to keep safety in mind and do what they can to keep the general public safe as we continue to watch this Chevy Corvette, blue in color, out of Pomona, continue these high rates of speed. We're almost through downtown now, so we've gone from Rancho Cucamonga to downtown LA in about 15 minutes, which is just incredible when you think about what a normal commute from Rancho Cucamonga to downtown would take. As you can see there, that's the CHP air unit that has come out of Fullerton Airport. They were able to catch up to this pursuit. You can see that other CHP ground unit doing their best to keep up with this pursuit on the ground. They're not going to let this guy go just because of the erratic driving and the erratic behavior that we've seen from this guy. Now we are going to approach the 10 and the 110 interchange. It looks like this guy's staying on the far left side, so as we come up on some traffic, we're going to go under the overpasses there, and we're going to come out the other side. It looks like we're going to be committed to that. Oh, and we jumped the gore point onto a part of the 10 freeway that's actually more of a side connector ramp that you can use from the 10 to reconnect back, use from the 110 actually, to reconnect back to the 10 freeway.
Well,
so kind of a pointless maneuver. A little bit of a construction zone there. You're absolutely right, Mark. And there's an off-ramp, Hoover Street, but we're not going to take it. This guy saw the construction, running over a cone there, and we're staying on this 10 freeway. Yeah, you're exactly right. And there the cone goes. Now we're using the right shoulder. Now we're back on that number 4 lane. Still high rates of speed, westbound 10. We'll be in Santa Monica in a couple of minutes.
Yes, as fast as he's going, although, you know, the freeway and the traffic volume that he's seeing probably makes it more difficult for him. Certainly, it's probably a lot safer for people that are
the gore point.
Yeah, safer for if he was on the surface streets and the traffic that he would be running into there, which, as I say that, he kind of gets off. Yeah.
Yeah, just as we started talking about those next options, if we continue down the 10, this guy exits. He got off on Normandy and back onto an on-ramp. Looks like we're going eastbound 10 now. So it does appear that this driver maybe thought that West LA was a little too unfamiliar for him, and he's going to come back eastbound on the 10 because that might be a part of town that this guy's more familiar with. And now that he's back on the freeway, we'll probably see those high rates of speed, those triple digits. But now you have to wonder, this guy's hopped a couple of gore points. There's got to be a little bit of damage to that vehicle now, and it might not be driving as well as it used to drive. So I don't know if we're going to see quite as high speeds as we saw earlier in this pursuit, but we're still seeing erratic driving. Crossing another gore point there, this is just a dangerous situation, Mark and Michelle.
Wow. Well, I'm wondering how much of this is joyride and how much of this is, you know, we don't know if the car's been is stolen. We don't have that sort of information yet. All we had was a vehicle code violation that started this, no plate on the car. And they tried to pull him over. Pomona police tried to pull him over, or her, the driver. And the driver took off in this blue Corvette Z06, top speed 205 miles an hour. Now, my question, and I think our car guy Dave Coons would be able to tell this, a lot of vehicles that may be high performance, Michelle, are
you know, sometimes it gets to the point where they just have to call it. You certainly have a lot more experience with these high-speed races, you know, than I do. So I don't know if you can speak to kind of when that happens or at what point they do that.
Yeah, well, Gabe Santos in Air 7 HD, what's your status right now? It sounds like we're pulling back from this thing as well.
Well, we don't believe this is a complete loss yet because the other helicopters over this keep getting glimpses of this guy. So we're trying to work with the CHP airship, and we know that LAPD officers on the ground, even though this started as this has been a CHP pursuit, were also getting involved because they saw the suspect flying by. So we do keep getting reports of glimpses, but now we're hearing that the suspect may have pulled into a parking garage. And as we know, if you've seen a couple of these lately, parking garages usually mean the end for these pursuits. We're going to try and find out exactly which parking garage that is, but usually when someone pulls into a parking garage and they're not being chased with officers directly behind them, they can pull in and hop out and take off a jacket or something and look like a completely different person. There's a look at City Hall for you. But we're going to try and find out exactly which parking garage this vehicle pulled into. But definitely downtown, incredibly difficult for pursuits. Luckily, one of the law enforcement helicopters, they're at a lower altitude, so they're able to keep close and tight orbits. Us at a higher altitude, we kind of have to strategically position ourselves on, you know, on one end of downtown or another, so we can see the suspect kind of cross through the buildings. Because if we try and keep up and follow the suspect in and around the buildings, that just gets too dangerous. So we're going to stay over this and keep monitoring the law enforcement transmissions, and we're going to find out exactly where this suspect went, and we're going to see if law enforcement is actually going to move in on that parking structure, because that'll be the next thing. There will be a suspect search of the parking structure. Law enforcement is going to use whatever resources they have at their disposal to see if they can ID the driver, and they're going to probably put up a perimeter around the parking structure to make sure that anybody that goes in and out of that area will be looked at least, to see if they were the ones that have been driving very erratically around the San Gabriel Valley and downtown LA.
All right, Gabe Santos in Air 7 HD, thank you for that. We will go back, of course, if they find this driver and if they have a conclusion to this pursuit that results in an arrest.